In mathematics, we often give names to particular numbers or objects so that we can refer to them without writing out their definitions all the time. Those things are often called variables. In Python, you can do the exact same thing, and this video is about creating and using variables in Python. To create a variable a with the value 10, we just type a equals 10. So here is a equals 10 in a code cell. When I run this, a now has the value 10. Now in any computation that I do, if I use the letter a, that will be replaced by the value 10. For example, if I do a plus 1, then Python will give me the output 11. You can use multiple variables in a calculation if you like. Let's define b to be equal to 20 and then do a plus b. The answer here will be 30. You can even create new variables by referring to old variables. Let's create a new variable c with a value of b plus 5, like this. And now if I do a plus b plus c, well, a was 10, b was 20, c was equal to b plus 5, which is 25. So when I run this, I get 55. In mathematics, the variables which we create are usually only one-letter variables. That's because in mathematics, when we write something like x times y, we use that as shorthand for x multiplied by y. In Python, you cannot do that. So if you wish to multiply two things together, then you must always use the star or asterisk symbol. What you can do is create variable names in Python of any length. In fact, the variable name rules are as follows. They can have any length. The only characters you're allowed to use are lowercase and uppercase letters, digits and an underscore. And finally, they can't start with a digit. Here's some examples of longer variable names in Python. We have a variable called nearly pi, which I've defined to be 3.141592. We have another variable whose name involves capital letters and digits, equal to 7. And here is some arithmetic with those two variable names. Now the fact that you can use these long variable names is actually very helpful because it means you can give variables names which describe what they represent. That helps us to write code which is easy to understand because we can let the names give us a clue as to what the variable is for. Now it's a matter of experience and taste to work out exactly how long you want to make your variable names. If you make them very, very descriptive, like this, well, it's very clear what this variable is supposed to represent because it spells it out in a lot of detail. But you're not going to want to type that out a lot of times, and in fact it's going to clutter your code up very much if you use it. So you need to find a happy balance between variable names which are very, very long but descriptive and variable names which are very, very short but don't make clear what they're supposed to mean. At the end of the last video, we solved a quadratic equation. We're going to use variable names to simplify our application of the quadratic formula and to make it easier to check whether our roots really were correct. The quadratic we were talking about was 2x squared plus 5x plus 2. And traditionally, we give the name a to the coefficient of x squared, b to the coefficient of x, and c to the constant term. So here you can see I've defined a to be 2, b to be 5, and c to be 2. Now we can use the quadratic formula in the following form. So the plus root should be minus b plus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c. So if I want the square root, you'll remember I have to raise this to the power 0.5 using 2 asterisks for exponentiation, and then I want to divide the whole lot by 2 times a. And I now want to compute the other root, so what I'm going to do is just copy and paste this code here, and I'm going to change the plus to a minus. Now on running this, we've defined 2 new variables, in fact 5 new variables, a, b, c, root plus and root minus. When I run this next cell, what it's going to evaluate is 2 times the first root squared plus 5 times the first root plus 2. If I've done this correctly, I should get the answer 0. Let's see. Yep, so that one seemed to work. and we'll do the other one, the next one. So again, the second root and the first root. Both really were roots of this quadratic equation, so it seems as if we've computed those correctly. The last thing we're going to look at in this video is a preview of some other things we're going to learn later. Variables in Python don't just have to represent numbers, as we've seen so far. There are many other kinds of variables in Python. Just like in ordinary mathematics, you might use a variable to represent a vector or a matrix or a function or one of many other different types of mathematical object. In Python, for example, you can use variables to hold text. So here is a variable a, which has the value of the string of 5 characters, HELLO. You can also create lists and sequences in Python. So let's create another variable called myList, and that will be 1, 2, 3. We're going to learn all about lists and all about Python variables which hold strings of text later.